doesn't care about you. That's why you need a medical emergency kit. It contains life-saving medications like ivermectin, Z-Pak, and antibiotics. Stock them before they block them.
I don't talk about strategy. Why should I talk strategy? Maybe, but we have three powerful strategies. We could just keep it alone, and they're going to fail. We could just keep, doing sort of just like nice and easy, relaxed. Like I said, I'm sort of negotiating. You see, they're very devious negotiators because they'll agree to something, then they'll go out and tell the press that they never did not do it. No, they're very dishonest people. So we have three strategies. Do what I'm doing now, just bop along and look how bad they're doing because the nations, they've got 300% inflation. They have no value. Their currency has almost no value. They have they're not paying their soldiers. Their soldiers are leaving. So just keep that going because that's not sustainable. Hit them really, really hard, or really the third is just beat them economically, but we're doing that anyway. That's sort of a part of the version. So economically, they are a mess. They can't borrow money. We control their money, what they had, which is a lot. They had a lot, and we have total control of it. I'm their banker. I am their banker. The windmills. You know who makes the windmills? China. They don't use them, but they make them. They make them. I said, how many wind plants are in China? They're trying to think. They're looking around. They have one or two demonstration plants. Like, here's what they look like. But they don't use them because they're no good. They're very expensive. And they produce bad energy, very expensive. Most expensive thing. They ruin the neighborhood. It's amazing when the environmentalists
Netanyahu's a war criminal. And listen, I'm not going to quibble with you on that. I mean, but they might respond with the question, well, what about Hamas? Does he condemn Hamas? Does he condemn?
Yes. I mean, I don't know.
What should be done about Hamas?
It's funny because people always, they always assume that there's like not that you're saying this, but that there's a gotcha. Like I'm not a tribalist about this. I believe in principles. Yeah. So yes, I condemned Hamas on day one, right? I think they're wrong. I think they committed war crimes. That's not hard to say. I just don't know why it's also not hard to say that in response, the Israeli government also committed war crimes, including genocide. So, the question for us is ultimately about where we use our tax dollars. That is the political question. I think people like to get involved in this big, long question of what's good for Israel or what's good or how we ought to be engaged in a conflict. My point is that our job is not to give money to make the conflict worse. Our job is to use our money here. And I believe that it is up to a free Palestinian people and free Jewish Israeli people to decide what the ultimate peace ought to look like. I just know that right now our tax dollars are making it far worse. And I don't want our money that could be used to make education and opportunity better for our people to be used to make life worse for other people.
יש משא ומתן ויכול להיות שיבשיל לאיזשהו הסכם. אם יש דבר אחד שאני אומר לך, מדינת ישראל תעמוד עליו בנחרצות, ללא קשר למי הנשיא האמריקאי, גם אחרי טראמפ, וזה שלאיראן לא יהיה נשק גרעיני, נקודה. אנחנו לקחנו את כל תעשיית הגרעין האיראנית אחורה שנים רבות, אותו דבר לתעשיית הטילים הבליסטיים. האם טראמפ מחויב לדבריו? אני מאמין שכן, הוא אומר את זה בעצמו, אבל יכול להיות שמתישהו יהיה גם נשיא אמריקאי שיחשוב אחרת. אנחנו במדינת ישראל לא נאפשר את זה, ואם צריך לפעול לבד, נפעל. אזור מבין שמדינת ישראל אחרי ה7 לאוקטובר עשתה, ממש הפכה את הקערה מבחינת מעמדה. היום אנחנו ממש מעצמה אזורית. איראן שתוקפת ויורה טילים על כל האזור, לא יורה על ישראל בגלל שיודעת שיש לזה מחיר כואב. אני חושב שאפשר לדבר גם על עוד דברים בגזרות אחרות, אבל אני אומר חד משמעית, נעשה פה ממש שינוי במדיניות. אנחנו כבר לא באותה תפיסה של ה7 לאוקטובר, וההובלה של ראש הממשלה נתניהו בשביל להמשיך ולעשות את הדברים האלה. לקדנציה הבאה, יחד עם טראמפ, היא הכרחית לטובת מדינת ישראל.
אני חושב שצריך להבין שא', המילה האחרונה לא נאמרה באירופה. אנחנו עשויים לראות מלחמות אזרחים, כמה שזה יישמע מטורף. אנחנו רואים את הימין בבריטניה, אנחנו הבאתי לפה את טומי רובינסון, היה על זה המון ביקורת. אני חושב שהרחוב הבריטי, רבים מהאנשים ברחוב הבריטי הם איתנו, הם נגד האסלאם הרדיקלי, הם נגד החמאס, והם לא מיוצגים, לא בסקיי ניוז, לא ב-BBC, כשם שהרבה מאוד מאזרחי ישראל לא מיוצגים בערוצי מיינסטרים הישראלי, והם גם לא מיוצגים בחוגי השלטון הנוכחי. אבל אנחנו לקראת שינויים עמוקים מאוד, גם בבריטניה, גם בצרפת, שינויים שבתורם גם יכולים לעורר
תגובות נגד.
בוא נאמר, תחשוב איך נראתה פריז אחרי כשאתה מדבר הרבה פעמים הצבא, לצערנו, כן, זה מסתכל על המציאות ביהודה ושומרון מעמדה כאילו בתווך, בין לבין.
זה סוג של עול שאנחנו צריכים...
האומות המאוחדות. וזה לא המצב, זאת אומרת, יהודה ושומרון זה לב המולדת היהודית, אוקיי? זו נחלת אבות. האוכלוסייה הפלסטינית היא אוכלוסיית אויב. זה לא אומר בהכרח שמכיוון שזו אוכלוסיית אויב, אנחנו מחר בבוקר צריכים להפעיל את כל עוצמתנו כנגדה, אבל אנחנו צריכים להיות מאוד מאוד דרוכים.
בעזרתם.
אני אדבר גם בשם עצמי. א', הכי חשוב בעיניי זה לייצר מערכת בריתות שלא הייתה כדוגמתה עם הימין השמרני העמוק. אנחנו היינו בסיטואציה שמפלגות הימין באירופה, ברובן, מוחרמות על ידי משרד החוץ הישראלי. ווקס, הספרדית של סנטיאגו אבסקל, שהוא היום הדובר הכי ציוני שיש בעצם בספרד, פרו-ישראלי, אנטי-טרור, אנטי-חמאסי, זה הרבה פעמים מתחבר למדיניות נגד הגירה מופקרת אל תוך שטחן של המדינות האירופיות.
הרגע ראינו בספרד מה האירוע.
נגד סייעות בדיוק. ועם האנשים האלה נוצרה קרבה אמיתית. ואותו דבר עם ז'ורדן ברדלה ומרין לפן, שגם היו תחת חרם מוחלט. עכשיו, הם מובילים בכל הסקרים לנשיאות, הם אלה שהתנגדו לצווי המעצר נגד נתניהו וגלנט, שמקרון תמך בהם. הם אלה שצעדו עם הקהילה היהודית ב7 באוקטובר, מרין לפן, מה שמקרון סירב לעשות.
Regarding the Mecca agreement, as you know, in the state of Qatar, we welcome any regional cooperation for the sake of security and stability and defense in the region, and also the Kingdom Saudi Arabia, the Turkey and Pakistan are countries that we have good relations with. We have brother relations based on the common destiny and common worries, and we welcome this step and we supported it. We undoubtedly have a positive view regarding this matter, any defense cooperation and good neighborhood between the countries. It's too early to talk about any initiatives or something like that because we have more than one platform. Qatar is present in these platforms and we have our own activity. Relations between the leaders of these countries and Qatar are very good and daily relations and daily contacts.
Welcome back to the SCIF. Thanks for joining us today. We got a hell of a show for you coming. We've got BKP in the second segment. We're going to talk about centers of gravity today. The center of gravity is in this whole thing is Georgia. That's definitely true. And also I've got Rob Maness in the second hour to discuss what's going on in the other center of gravity, which is the Middle East, and where this is all being driven to and what the agendas are and everything. So we're going to talk about all of that today. I want to say hello to the crew in the chat. You're cleared hot. Thanks for the engagement. Check out whatfinger.com, great aggregator site. There's a big battle shaping up, and you can see it in narratives. And I want to dig into this a little bit on Tucker and some surprising things that came out yesterday, which I wrote about. What is going on in the narratives? And I know Brian Pritchard is very big into checking the mainstream media and checking the narratives there. But, you know, we're good at looking at Conservative Inc. and seeing what narratives are being created, because, you know, somebody said recently that the Mockingbird media, the control, has just simply moved into some of the Conservative Inc. cycles. And that is something that I think is true, and we're going to continue to call it out. I can tell you we're not controlled. I can tell you that right now. If we were controlled, we'd have, you know, 8 million followers on X, which it's so funny. We get 5, 10, 20 a day, and most of them go away. You know, we broke through 4,450 yesterday on our X account on CDM, and you know, immediately it went back down. I mean, it's just hilarious. I mean, it's whatever, dudes. We're going to keep growing. So we've got a lot to talk about today. Let's do the mission brief. Today is what date is today? It's the 11th of August. I'm your host, L. Todd Wood. Here's your mission brief. Will the Strait open? I want to discuss that at length. We'll discuss that at length with Rob Maness. Houthis hit Aramco in Saudi Arabia on the pipeline over to the Red Sea. That's huge. I want to tell you why. DSA wants to kill all the white capitalists. We'll ask BKP what's going on in Georgia with that. Second food recall. Food security is big, along with medical, along with financial, along with physical, along with information. You got to make yourself resilient, and food is a big one. I don't know where all these recalls are coming from, but it's happening. And the SPR, the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, is at all-time lows. So all of that we'll discuss. We've got a big show for you today. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. We'll be right back on the SCIF.
First time ever, we're bringing you MyPillow mattresses and mattress toppers for as low as $99.98. Remember, sleep's all about temperature and pressure points. Whatever sleep needs you have, we have the right technology for you. Like our MyPillow mattress topper, our queen size has over 10,000 individual comfort supports to help relieve your pressure points. And how about our 3-inch Hybrid Plus mattress topper? It's infused with copper and silver to help your body get the restorative sleep it needs. And our MyPillow and Case Coil mattresses, I personally helped develop these mattresses to make sure they have everything needed to give us great sleep. Plus, they're made right here in the USA, and they ship right to your front door absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to get MyPillow mattresses and toppers for as low as $99.98 and free shipping.
I'm watching my friends gain more and more weight, and then eventually I got to tell you, this is a little dark, but bad diet literally killed my whole crew.
Wow.
Diabetes, a stroke. I mean, all kinds of stuff. It's like, you had a stroke? You're not even 50 years old. You guys got to quit eating this stuff. Your body knows what's what. You are not conscious of this. But that's why people will go to the refrigerator and they'll grab this and that and the other and put together this outrageously elaborate combination of foods. Your body's trying to reach balance. Unbeknownst to us, our bodies are always trying to reach homeostasis. You can't eat all of this stuff and expect to live a long time. And one thing led to another, and I went, forget this. We're going to make our own product. So we partnered with one of the world's top 3 biochemists where nutrition-specific study is concerned. I said, all I want is the best nutritional and immune support product in the world. So we mixed it in yogurt. It's a powder. I got a bag of it here. I keep one on the console all the time, just so I can show people.
Yeah.
And it's a powder. Now, this is not candy. This is hardcore nutrition. And sugar is an enemy. And most people do not know that the reason these bellies are showing up on people all over the place, your body makes fat to store the toxins it can't get rid of. So it just puts them over here. But I can tell you this. You take this for 30 days and then lay off of it for 2 or 3 days, and you'll go, good grief, give me some more. Skin, nails, hair growing back, cut yourself and it heals in half the time.
silver wings on my son's chest. Make him one of America's best. He'll be a man, he'll test one day. Have him win the Green Beret.
All right, welcome back to the SCIF. Want to give a shout out to Nucleo Boost, cdmnutrition.com. It's how we stay in the game here at CDM. It's how we roll 24/7, keeping our cells filled to the brim with all the materials they need to be healthy. That's how you fight off disease. So go to cdmnutrition.com, check out the subscription monthly for Nucleo Boost. It's a powder or a capsule. You don't need all those bottles. You just need one Nucleo a day, and you have all the Nucleo material in your cells you need to stay healthy and fight off disease. We've had a lot of good success with it. Check out the subscriptions. We'll be having a bigger marketing campaign on that going forward. Also, mypillow.com. Check out mypillow.com with CDM as the promo code. You'll get the best discounts. Mike's got a lot of stuff going on. I love the mattress toppers. Every time I travel, I come back and I just lay down that thing and smile on the big king. So check out the mattress toppers on mypillow.com. All right, we've talked a lot about Georgia over the years. Georgia is the epicenter. We've said that many times on the Georgia show. And we have with us the Oracle of Georgia, BKP. Brian, thanks for joining us this morning, man.
Hey, Todd, thank you. And I appreciate it very much. I want to tell you, I want your audience to know, I study Georgia, I study politics, I study the narrative, I study the media. Mm-hmm. But when I want to, find out around the world, I follow Todd Wood, CDM Media. I really do. He knows I hit him up like, what does this mean? So I humble myself and say, hey, in Georgia, I might know a little bit about it, but when it comes to what you play, hey, I know we want to get right into this, but I want to thank you because I watched all of your opening. I watched every bit of it. And the question I have is, how does that translate to the upcoming elections?
Right.
Is that going to translate? So I appreciate you, Todd, for having me. It's always a joy to talk to your viewers and talk about Georgia. You said narrative, and mm-hmm. I want to say that you said the narrative. And folks, that's what I do daily is I look for the narrative that the Mockingbird media, I call it the deep state corporate corrupt media, is running out in front of these candidates. And they do just that. But there is the opposite side. So I always ask my viewers to say, anytime you're watching anything, and there's some good people out there, there are definitely some good people, but the question you should always ask is, who is paying them and who are they performing for?
Yes.
Never forget that. Who's paying them and who are they performing for? Because I'm not going to veer away from Georgia here. I'll get into it, but I'm listening to you on X.
Mm-hmm.
I can have all of a sudden a dozen new followers, and then all of a sudden, you can't tell me no one is getting through.
Yeah.
The algorithm, not at all, or same thing with viewers. So that being said, how does foreign policy translate into our elections? That'll be a major question, because on the ground, it's not translating. It's really not translating. Anytime you look at the top issues, even in a presidential election, it's hard to get everyday voters out of the ecosystem to get interested in foreign policy. So if you go out there right now and you're campaigning, and you say, well, and Trump says this, and I'm not on here to come after Donald Trump, but the reality is Todd, Trump made domestic promises.
Yep.
And core voters voted for him based on domestic promises. He did not. He promised he wouldn't get in any foreign wars, okay? These endless wars, he promised he wouldn't do that. So he did get votes based on that, but he really, he didn't say, hey, I will do everything to stop Iran from having a nuke. You and I are interested in that. And most of the world, if you ask them, or voters out there, do you want to stop Iran from ever having a nuke? The answer is going to be yes, but at the same time, can we get the price of beef down? Can we, get this down? So going right into Georgia, you talked about the DSA.
Mm-hmm.
And in Georgia, we're sitting on an election cycle, which is in full steam. I know South Carolina is having their primary today for their special election. I call it the hand-me-down Senate seat. I get so tired of that.
That is just disgusting to me, Brian. I mean, I find that just absurd and in your face. We're gonna just keep the power. Sorry, you don't.
Where are we at here? Do we inherit? I mean, I see someone retire and they crown someone else, but enough said. The voters know that out there, and your viewers know that.
Yeah.
But yes, we have primary up in Wisconsin with the one lady that says, "Hey, let's get rid of Thanksgiving," far to the left, and we have some others. But in Georgia, our general election cycle is in full steam. It's moving ahead because we have an election system here in Georgia season. We have a whole entire season where we early vote almost 3 weeks. So mid-October, they start the algorithm. That's a story in itself. And early voting. So right now in mid-August, both campaigns for governor and the campaign for U.S. Senate is well under its way. But
did Jackson do a big media buy? I thought I saw him.
87 million. Yeah. And I told you last time on your show and your viewers, we're going to end up, I mean, I'm pretty firm. You take Democrat primary, Republican primary, general election, just the governor's race alone will probably come to around $350 million.
Yeah.
Like, wow. Okay. and Jackson is running, and for transparency, I'm voting for Rick Jackson. I can't vote for Keisha Lance Bottoms, but Jackson is running on, I want to give back and I love the state. Hey, okay. Wow. Yeah. But yes, he just had an ad buy for 87 million. Our Senate race, John Ossoff. Now the media is running. Mike Collins, the Republican candidate, cannot get through the media shield. He cannot get through it. All right, and they're not going to allow it. The AJC. Their political arm is very powerful in Georgia. They do have, what did Rush used to call them, the Atlanta Journal Constipation or something. They used to call them
Journal Constipation. That's what
whatever. But and they are, but they run a narrative and they're powerful here. And then we've got WSB and Atlanta News First and the others. Mike Collins, the Republican candidate for Senate against John Ossoff, cannot break through and get anything out. Now, that's just all there is to it. He can continue to talk to the echo chamber at OAN, Newsmax, Bannon, that side. But nowhere else in Georgia can he get his message out. And what's upsetting is they keep attacking this guy over and over, calling him a racist, white nationalist, going back over what his son-in-law posted on social media, and they go after him, and the media goes after him, and Ossoff cannot get touched. But no one asked John Ossoff about, hey, you endorsed and you support Abdul El-Sayed. Mm-hmm. Now, in Georgia, I would like for your viewers to look this up. We have the DSA. We have 6 chapters of the DSA in Georgia. Okay. We have a candidate for Georgia State Senate District 7, Rua Roman, born in Palestine or Jordan, and moved here. She's a practicing Muslim. Mm-hmm. She went to New York and campaigned for Mondani, knocked on doors. She will not say she's associated with the Democrat Socialists of America, but she went side by side with them and knocked on doors with their volunteers from Mondani. Then she went to Michigan and campaigned for Abdul El-Sayed. No one brings this up. The media won't
what
say
is her name
anything.
again? What is her name?
Her name is Ruwa, R-U-W-A Roman with 2 M's. R-U-W-A Roman with 2 M's. And it should be major news because she went. Then she went to Michigan. Now she is on the national radar for the Democrat Socialists and the Muslim movement in politics and getting their candidates elected in the United States. She's on the national stage, and they're totally overlooking this lady.
Yeah.
Now, they won't ask John Ossoff if he condemns Hassan Piker, the guy that said we deserved, that campaigned with Abdul. He campaigned with him. He's a podcaster. He said America deserved 9/11, this radical guy. No one will ask John Ossoff any of these questions if he condemns Democrat Socialists of America, nothing in Georgia. Democrats are getting a full pass because Democrats, this is where I don't like to tell your audience this, but they are set in Georgia. They're in the best position they have been in 20 years. I mean, they really are. They're in a position. They've got, their bases energized. They're coming out to vote. Their volunteers are actually, they opened 60, they opened like 30, 40 some locations, campaign locations around the state. So Democrats are sitting in an enormous position right now.
Meanwhile, the Republican Party's just what's the word? Not disoriented, but they're not mobile. They're not motivated.
Well, it's a problem. So I'm pausing not to say a problem, but
moralized. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, we have so many fractures. I mean, we really do, and the reality is, and right now, Republicans in Georgia, I'm watching around the country for the most part, but Republicans in Georgia, we're running on the fear vote. Jackson's doing a great job. The guy running for governor here, he's doing absolutely a great job. His campaign of, Keisha Lance Bottoms, the riots in Atlanta, burning Atlanta down. Her husband took a private jet to the Super Bowl that the taxpayers paid for while she was married. They're doing a good job with that. But outside of that, they don't have really a good platform of this is what we're going to do. And Republicans are so split up in Georgia. I'm jumping all around, but if you're out there, you gotta zero in on the 14th district. I bring this up like a broken record, but there's no coincidence in politics. There's no coincidence in the month of August. They waited for the month of August because, as the old saying goes, baked in the cake. So the economy is pretty much baked in the cake for voters going into November right now, unless something miraculously changes overnight. But gas will be high, food will be high, back to school supplies are high. Inflation is up on these products. But Marjorie Taylor Greene, Joe Kent, and this is not knocking them. If you guys support them out there, that's up to you. But Marjorie Taylor Greene, Joe Kent, Thomas Massey, and Tucker Carlson, there's no coincidence. In August, they start this third-party discussion. Right. So we have over in the north left corner of Georgia, the 14th district, and I said this before, it's an R+19, where it is very fractured. It's the largest populated Republican vote in the state. All right. Large population, Republican. The entire district went 74% for Trump. But then at the same time, before Marjorie resigned, it went 81% for Marjorie. So she still has a fraction over there. We've got a Democrat candidate that they're pouring a lot of money in. His name's Sean Harris. He ran in the special election. He did very well. They got a lot of money behind him. What is he doing? He's holding town halls against data centers. Republicans have not come out with a position on data centers. Keisha Lance Bottoms is saying, the Democrat candidate for governor, if she's elected, she's going to put a moratorium on them immediately and get all the facts. Well, we know that's meaningless, but at least she's saying data center. Our candidates are not even saying data center. So Sean Harris the other night has a full house at a data center town hall, and he opposes data centers. That's a Democrat. So there is a lot of fractions over in that area where Marjorie's making a lot of noise.
On that note, my sense is I'm coming to a realization here that, let's be honest. Trump made a deal with Israel to get elected, not necessarily Israel, but big Jewish donors to get a lot of money in to get elected. And there was probably a quid pro quo there. He said it in the Senate. I'm not saying anything people don't know. He said, Mary Madelson, she gave me a lot of money and, whatever. So that the deal was we have a war with Iran. Okay, that's it. So, but the real agenda for Tucker, Candace, MTG, all of these people is the Trump agenda. It's not necessarily Trump itself. They want that to stop. They want the sunlight to stop. So I think that what is happening is that they are going after that agenda. And the best way to do that is to go after the Israeli power structure, the Jewish power structure, which obviously has its tentacles in the U.S., but it's more than that. I mean, it's the agenda they want to stop. And I think the whole Jewish thing is just a vector. What do you think about it?
I agree 100%. There's nothing you said that I don't agree with. But now let's translate that to the vote in November. We've got MTG saying Trump is responsible for everything. I forget the quote, but it basically is Trump did everything. He's responsible for everything. Okay. Trump bad man, MTG. Right. Then you have Trump saying, go vote. Go vote. And who's going to stay home? I'm not concerned that Republicans will go. I'm not concerned that Republicans will go in Georgia, stay focused here, will go vote for Keisha Lance Bottoms. Now, Republicans will go vote for John Ossoff, and we're going to call them Republicans, but they will. But I'm not really concerned that Republicans are going to get out and vote for Keisha Lance Bottoms. I'm more concerned on who does not go vote because they're upset with Trump.
Yeah, maybe that's the whole agenda. That's the whole agenda, and that's why the DSA is so scary. Because look, I think there is a uniparty. They are, and I think they bring one side up, then they drop them down. They bring the other side up. I mean, this is like a fight each other thing, but it's really just one matrix we're fighting. But the getting those people in power is not what we want.
Well, I agree with that. I agree with that. But the Democrat Socialists of America, all right, so the reality and not to go completely off the rail, I went to a Rick Jackson for governor. He's the Republican governor candidate here. I went to an event in Pickens County. Pickens County voted 83% for Donald Trump. I went there Saturday, 120 people in the parking lot. And the guy has the 55 plus white vote locked up. I mean, he's got that. Yeah. But I don't hear anything in the platform in the 18 to 40. And the 18 to 40, right or wrong, because some people look at, well, that's wrong. It doesn't matter. The 18 to 40 age, you got to realize these young people have never lived in a true free market capitalist system. They never have. So they don't even really know what it is. True. And they're hearing greed capitalism. So when someone comes along and has a position that says, and I'm hearing these Democrat socialists, they're saying, well, we're not 100% against capitalism. It's just this type. Well, wait a minute. If you're against that type, what do you want to put in? So
well,
there is.
Let me just jump in there. That's very Soviet. Just having a lot of experience in the Soviet Union and that whole perspective. All the people say to when they come out of there, they say capitalist is bad and they confuse capitalism with oligarchy, and that's what they preach to the Soviets, that this bad type of capitalism, but they conflate the two. So you're right. The young people think that capitalism is just this oligarchy, and it's not. I mean, that's
yeah,
not
but now let's go back to the picture.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Capitalism is not.
Yeah.
But let's go back to the picture of you remember Adelson. I've always told everybody, look, I'm the messenger. Go look at pictures. Go look at pictures in the room. Go look at the Sam Altman. Go look at Bezos. Go look at Zuckerberg. Look at the pictures behind Trump left and right. I mean, I didn't do that. I'm not up there. I'm not in the room.
Yeah.
I always tell people, go look at the pictures. So that is what is really taking place. And, young people are not getting a promise of future for tomorrow. And it's a shame that we don't have Republicans out there that really understand true free market capitalist system. Even Republicans don't quite understand it.
Yeah.
I think young people would get all excited about that, but we're not even putting that out as Republicans. And Democrats are putting that out, and they are attracting the young people. When I say Democrats, socialists. Now, you and I both know, because the Soviet and Europe. I don't understand that area of the world, but socialism is a transition. So we have, and that's where the media, I keep hearing Joe Scarborough, and I hear CNN, and they're defending, we're tired of hearing Nazis, and we're tired of hearing communism. It's not communism, it's socialism. Folks, socialism is the transition, period. End of story. Would you agree, Todd?
Yeah, it's just, it is it's an old, what we're moving to. You can say communism, socialism, whatever. It's an oligarchy control, and they use this theory to, promise things to the serfs that never happen, and the serfs get a worse life, but the oligarchy thrives. That's what we're in, and moving to a more ensconced system like that. And the problem when you get to the full side of that is they start killing people if you don't agree with them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, in Georgia right now, I'm going to say we've had 3 polls, and whoever purchases the poll sets up the method. So I don't trust them, but we have a Fox poll with Ossoff with 13. We have an AARP with 9, and we have a poll of average right now with the 8.8 on Ossoff. My concern right now is we had 2 mayors of counties that voted 75% for Trump. The mayor of Valdosta, Georgia, a nonpartisan position, but claims to be a Republican, that came out and publicly adores John Ossoff. And the mayor of Tifton, Georgia, claiming to be a Republican again, came out and publicly endorsed John Ossoff. I wrote an article back in May, and I explained this to people. John Ossoff was smart. I don't like to say it, but he got into very red districts right here where I live. The county where I live in, John Ossoff got him so many hundreds of $1,000s for all the firefighters to get the breathing apparatuses. Yeah. Well, that kind of stuff he did over his term, and he locked in. So John Ossoff, if he pulls a 6, a 5, or a 6 against Mike Collins, I think it has coattails. I really do. I think it has coattails, and that's my concern.
What is all this stuff with Trump saying my polls are so great? Is that just denial of reality, or is he just trying to force a narrative? What is that?
Okay, so I did a segment yesterday on affordability. Okay, and I did this on my show. Remember, I pulled a video. Remember when Biden came out and said, we're down to 2% on inflation, unemployment's down to 4%. This is the best economy You remember when Biden tried to sell us the economy was definitely going all the right direction? Guess what? Voters didn't buy it.
Yeah.
So I played the same clip, Punch Bowl News, the guy, I don't even know why Trump does these Punch Bowl News, far left. But he goes up there and he sits down. He says to the guy, I should be polling 150% on the economy. I have to tell you, Todd, I got to watch that twice because I'm like, no.
It's obviously not true. So it's I don't understand that at all. I mean, why even say it? It makes it worse,
This is an unusual statement from me. I'm not your guy for that answer. I don't know. I sit here and I'm like, no, why did you just say that?
Yeah.
Why did you say that?
Yeah.
The economy, the economy is, it's doing well for some. And there you go. Now, there you go. Young people that are between 18 to 40, it's not hitting, but professionals that are in the medical field or whatever the case may be, it's, some of those are doing very well. I don't know why he says it. I'm concerned. I think we could be okay in the House. It looks like we got a solid 212. We need 218, and there's some toss-ups. It's possible. I'm going to say it's possible. My concern right now truly is the Senate, and I'll tell you why. I was very hopeful that Georgia would flip to red, and if I could take just a minute to, because this doesn't translate, but I was hoping John Ossoff and we would flip Georgia to red, and I'm not calling the race now. Hopefully we still can, but with Ossoff's numbers so high, and he's still the top. All right, he's the top money man in the state Senate. 42 million came in. The guy's rolling in the cash. So we're not going to pour money in here.
Well, a lot of that's all Smurf money. But
right, and you guys have done an amazing job on that. You guys really have. You broke that down, and people, you should go check out their work on what they've done there, where the money truly comes from, and how it's moved around and manipulated. That being said, I know Texas, I said this the other day, is supposed to be fool's gold for Democrats, but this Tallarico is a dangerous kid. He's bringing in a lot of money. He has 3 polls in a row. It's statistically tied, but 3 polls in a row where he's up 2 points over Paxton. But, they're going to pour money in there. The Republicans are going to defend Susan Collins. They're going to up in Maine. And Mike Rogers could flip Michigan. So the point I'm making is your viewers and everyone out there, you should think about the Senate in this way. Look at Todd Blanche the other night. He only passed 50 to 49. 2 Republicans defected. So you translate, we have to have, and I know everybody's upset with John Thune over the Save America Act. I get it. I'm no John Thune fan, but I will tell you this. If we don't keep the power in the Senate in the Republican hands, Trump will not get another judge confirmed. And if Samuel Alito and Clarence Thomas want to retire, we will not get those 2 positions on the Supreme Court. Now,
no, it's highly important, and this is what they've developed. I think a grand strategy, which unfortunately is working. So I'm still at the point of how do we counter this, or how do not even counter it, but how do we get to a good outcome? Because I'm not sure either side is on the up and up. So, but
I'll agree with that.
Yeah,
you didn't ask me that question.
Yeah.
I said the other day, I'm not for sure that Republicans, this could get me in trouble, but what would a segment be with me without that? I'm not for sure that Republicans just shouldn't say, hey, look, our guy's just not as crooked as your guy.
Yeah.
That might be the campaign slogan.
Yeah. Or we don't take as much money as the other guy. There's a bar up in Alaska in Anchorage. It's called Chilkoot Charlie's. and the slogan on the door as you walk in is, "We cheat the other guy and pass the savings on to you." So that's kind of right there what's going on, man.
Okay, I get it. So look, I think in Georgia, it is the Democrats to lose. I don't like saying it. It pains me to say it, but right now it could be the Democrats to lose. Another thing that we're watching here is we have narrow margins in the Georgia State House. You got to remember, Republicans have had the trifecta in Georgia for 22 years. They've had the governor, state house, and state senate for 22 years. And we are looking at 10 close races from 5 points down to 2 in the Georgia State House that Democrats would like to pick up and take control of the State House, not just the governor's mansion. And the one thing that is important, and I have to tell you, when I say it's sad that election fatigue is where most people are in Georgia. There's still a great group of patriots fighting on a daily basis to get rid of the voting machines and get paper ballots and get a good, true, accurate voting system for the citizens of Georgia. There's great patriots out there, but the fatigue is here. And, that group has dwindled, might I say. My one thing that's very important with the governor's office, and that's why I'm doing everything to try to save the governor's office, is that will be the determination of the next election system in Georgia, and also our Secretary of State.
Yeah.
If we end up with a Democrat Secretary of State and a Democrat governor, there's no telling what kind of voting system we will have.
Well, both sides are just using the voting system as a way to stay in power. I mean, obviously it's all fake. And I was talking with someone this morning, a son of mine actually, and we just decided, we have to focus on our family, building a core community at the local level and growing from there and retake the country that way. That's the only, and slowly, and that's going to be generational problem. So I don't know what can be done this cycle, and maybe it just needs to burn down and start over. I don't know.
Well, I don't know if the party system has to collapse.
Yeah.
And I say that as a lifelong Republican. My dad, dead and gone, lifelong Republican, my family. But I don't know if the party system has to collapse. I really don't know. Ballot access, we have a system in Georgia that we have the Libertarian Party, which has no candidates right now, but you're a Democrat or Republican and you write the check and you get on the ballot. But outside of that, it's virtually impossible to get another name on the ballot. So I don't know if that's one of the answers. I do want to leave your audience with this, because if you're out there and you're in another state and you're watching this, I told people last year the demagnification of Georgia and America, and I told them to watch for that. Now, there's a group, whether you like it or not, they have like they're in prison over on the wall, Xing off every date that Trump has done to them. After November, they finally got through with having to, say yes, sir, to Donald J. Trump. That being said, in 2015, I've been in the Georgia State Party for years. I mean, years. In 2015, we had the establishment, the old guard that was the chair of the county party, first vice chair, secretary. You could go to a party meeting if you're an outsider, but, you sit in the audience and, hear what they have to say. But how dare you, until you put the time in, think about being the chair? How dare you make a move? Now, we watched with Trump, and I'm going somewhere with this. We watched in our party here with Trump come in 2016. Trump supporters started coming into the local parties. They started daring the establishment, running against them. Some America First candidates started to control the party apparatus in counties and districts around the state of Georgia. Then 2020 hit, and the election integrity crowd, I'll call it that, they swamped the party, and basically took it over for the most part. I'm watching the pendulum.
Then the empire struck back.
I'm watching the pendulum swing back up. Rick Jackson, our nominee for governor, is definitely the establishment. He is definitely bringing the establishment back into power. I can go through 3 events Saturday from Cobb County, Cobb County to Floyd County over in Rome, where Marjorie Taylor Greene's from, and over here in Pickens County. I can go through all the crowd pictures, and the political posturing in the crowd is enormous, of the old chairs that are coming back.
Yeah.
You see all these people that used to be in the party.
Yeah.
They're now back at the events.
That's funny.
So
That's
the pendulum is turning.
There's no paper ballots only, please shirts, huh? It's more.
No, not one. Not one exactly. You take two years ago, you went to some political event. There were 15 people with a paper please t-shirt on.
Yeah.
No, you can't find those in the crowd anymore. Those people have been moved out, and they did it on purpose, and they're back to putting. In fact, they have already picked. If Rick Jackson prevails and is the governor, he has already picked the next chair of the Georgia Republican Party. He has already picked the next chair.
Well, McCoon has just disappeared. I mean, it's kind of wild. I mean, we got when's the election? 3 months from now?
Well, Rick
party.
Josh McCoon came out, and he came out, and he will tell you he did not do this, but you'd have to have blinders on not to see. He came out and supported Burt Jones 100%, and so did the first vice chair, Sally Grubbs, and they supported Burt. And we have another fraction. We got Turning Point Action. Okay, Turning Point Action was working really, really hard in Georgia for Burt Jones. Well, Turning Point Action is not doing anything for Rick Jackson.
Well,
not that he hasn't hired a team.
Has its own problems. I mean, I think there's a lot.
Well, and they're working for Mike Collins over at the Senate, but we have all those groups that are fractured now in Georgia. Josh McCoon, the chairman, he endorsed Burt Jones. Rick Jackson won't even return his phone calls. Josh McCoon's biggest concern, I would think, in life is how does he replace that $225,000 a year state job?
Yeah.
The guy has a $225,000 a year state job that if Keisha Lance Bottoms is governor,
maybe that's what he's working on. He's sure not working on those 7 mountains. I'll tell you that.
No, he's not doing that at all. So no, the party itself, the party itself, Josh McCoon, the chairman, he's probably brushing up a resume. Yeah. It's interesting. There's been a lot of talk about Rick Jackson has not campaigned with or with Mike Collins. So Saturday in Rome, Georgia, there was an event that both of them were at, and they did take a picture together and release it. But on that same Friday night, the night before, Josh McCoon was the MC of an event that Rick Jackson was at. But you don't see a picture of Rick Jackson and Josh McCoon anywhere. Wow. So nothing has healed there.
BKP, I'm out of time, man. I could keep you for another hour, but thanks, man. Appreciate you coming on.
I would stay. It's always a pleasure. Anytime. Have a great day.
All right, you too. Ciao.
Every day, your data is being tracked, collected, and sold, often without you even realizing it. Big tech companies control your devices, your apps, and the information you share. From your messages to your browsing habits, everything is being monitored and stored. Over time, we've traded privacy for convenience, and most people don't even question it. But what if you could take that control back? That's where Mark 37 comes in. Mark 37 provides privacy-focused phones, laptops, and tablets designed to give you full control over your digital life. With secure systems, expert support, and simple tools, they make it easier to step away from constant tracking and data collection. Because privacy isn't just a feature, it's a fundamental choice. It's about protecting your data, your freedom, and your future. Take back control of your digital life with Mark 37.
And by the way, I wanted to say I'm starting my journey with Sean. I'm going to be getting a Ghost phone and then upgrading to a Ghost computer soon, because I am going to unplug for the Matrix. And you can follow me along on my journey. So mark37.com/CDM is where you want to go to do that. Find the webinar, sign up for the webinar, and learn everything you need to know to get started. And then you can also sign up for a free 30-minute consultation on privacy there at mark37.com/CDM. But I'm looking forward to it, and I have been worried about privacy for some time. So I'm going to be taking the plunge and changing my life and unplugging from the Matrix, and I'm really looking forward to it. So maybe you can join me.
A warm welcome here at the National Press Club. Welcome to the journalists, welcome to the Embraer team, and welcome to the other guests that we have here. I'm going to announce, and as some of you guessed it right when they came in, the first E2 order by an American operator. And that operator is Avello. We believe this is really a strategic shift to unlock profitability for the customer. I'm very pleased that we have Andrew Levy here as the CEO of Avello, and I'm very pleased to give the stage to share a little bit more about what Avello is going to do with the E2 195. Thank you very much.
Couldn't be more excited to be here as part of this historic announcement. We have such a great cultural fit as companies, so we're very, very excited to be Embraer's newest customer. We launched our airline in April of 21, and our target is focusing on small secondary airports of large metro areas. We've carried over 8 million customers since we started on 63,000 flights. And we've done all these things with 1,200 of the greatest crew members I could ever imagine having, and many of them are here with me today. This is the right airplane for us. It's going to open up opportunities for us that no other aircraft can serve. The best thing about the airplane, of course, is you will not find a middle seat on this airplane. It doesn't exist. We won't have any to offer. It's going to be the best cabin in the United States, and we're so excited about that. This is going to elevate our experience to the highest level, and we think our customers are absolutely going to love the airplane.
Your government doesn't care about you. That's why you need a medical emergency kit. It contains life-saving medications like ivermectin, Z-Pak, and antibiotics. Stock them before they block them.
Welcome back to the SCIF. I want to just follow up on the ad there for the wellness company. Go to twc.health/CDM, promo code CDM, and use and get that 10% off with the promo code. But you need to protect your family. There is so much going on right now out in the world, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of we talk a lot about resilience here, and medical resilience is one of the big ones that we discuss over and over again. And you really can't trust a lot of what you're being told in the medical system, but you can trust the wellness company. So go to twc.health/CDM, promo code CDM, get 10% off. But look at their memberships, look at their nutraceuticals, pharmaceuticals, the emergency medical kits, the parasite cleanse, all kind of stuff, the weight loss, the drop, everything is there. Everything is good. Everything works. We've tested it all. And we've had great feedback from all of our readers who use it. All right, so we talked about one center of gravity, which is the great state of Georgia, but the other center right now in the world of global affairs, which is driving your kids' future. And by the way, this show is not an activist show, we're an intel show. We try to make you the smartest in the room and bring all the information that you need so that you can make intelligent decisions in your life, in your business, and with your family. And the other center of gravity is obviously the Middle East. And I've got the guy to discuss, Colonel Rob Maness, a former Air Force pilot and officer like myself. He's a bomber guy and knows a lot about what's happening in that region. So I want to bring him on. Rob, thanks for coming on, my friend.
Thanks for having me, Todd. Just one small correction. I'm a B1 backseater.
Oh,
not a
what
pilot.
did I say? What did I say? Okay,
You said pilot. That's
crew member.
It's not
That's
unusual, especially for pilots.
That's the second mistake I've made. Second time I've made that mistake. Sorry about that. Well,
that's all right. I have to take care of my pilot brothers to make sure.
Well, I mean,
you don't think I'm trying to usurp them.
The backseaters know more than the pilots a lot about actually what's going on, right? I mean, they drive the mission. Am I right? Is that how it works?
We think so.
All right. So I want to talk. The main thing that caught my eye and wanted to have you on is Aramco, the hit on the facility in Saudi Arabia on the Red Sea, because what's going on is the Saudis and others are trying to build pipelines across over to the Med so that they can have a release valve for all this oil that's being stopped up in the Strait, not completely, but to an extent. But it was hit by something and caused a fire. The Saudis admitted it was a direct hit. I think it was by the Houthis, which is an Iranian proxy army. So what do you see happening there? Do you have any battle damage that you know about that, or is that just a one-off, or what do you think that is?
No, I don't think it's a one-off. I think the Iranians, and I'm going to keep this focused using the word Iranian for the opposition, for the adversary, because there is intelligence, open source intelligence being publicized that there is direct evidence of the IRGC coordinating with the Houthis and the Iraqi militias and Hezbollah. Not sure about Hamas, but at least those three. So this is about the Iranians. The Iranians see the Strait of Hormuz as the center of gravity for us, or they see the center of gravity being the free flow of oil out of the Strait and its negative effect on gasoline prices here in the United States, even though we don't get any oil out of the Strait of Hormuz anymore. Right. But it's a global petroleum market, energy market, so it is having an effect on gasoline prices here. But we can debate whether it should or not, and the companies, the American companies doing so, they should be doing that or not, but that's not the issue. And I think the Iranians, because we have told them, and when I say we, meaning players in the alliance, either the Israelis or NATO members or the United States itself, we've all told them that we think it's a center of gravity too, because of all the hand-wringing in the media, and anonymous sources that are usually military people, either inside or tangentially and those kind of things. So they think it's the center of gravity, and they're spreading out these attacks. It should be no surprise that now the Houthis are hitting targets inside the Strait of Band al you know what I'm talking about. With their little strait, they're striking targets there. I think one ship was actually sunk, if I remember correctly, in the last few days. All 14 crew members were alive, but the ship was put to the bottom, I believe. Anyway, so it shouldn't strike anybody as a surprise that they're also the Houthis have been at war with Saudi Arabia forever. Saudi have not done a good job at defeating them, obviously. And the Iranians have been able to keep supply going to them enough where they still have armaments that they want to use, that they're going to strike the rest of that network. And the closest to them that they have the opportunity to do that is the refining capability, the pipelines coming across from the Gulf to try to bypass the Strait of Hormuz. All of that's on a lot of that's on Saudi territory, plus the refineries and everything. Because when they hit the refineries, that has a direct impact on a global gasoline and diesel market. So they understand what they think is the center of gravity because we've told them so. We being the collective, and that's unfortunate because it will do damage. And I think their intent is to run this all the way up to the midterms and try to get the president the president's people out of office in the legislature so the Democrats can take over. Because for some reason, they think the Democrat Party are their allies. And I don't know, I can't imagine why they think that, but that's what they think.
Well, the economic issue is obviously the big one. And, it's also obvious we don't have the force structure to really go in there with any kind of ground force. I mean, we could take Cargill Island and maybe hold that for a while, but that I think causes more problems than it would solve. But the economic issue is key. The Iranians are hurting economically too, though, right? I mean, big time.
Oh, we're destroying them economically. Reporting is showing that they haven't paid their troops in going on 4 weeks now. As I have said many times, and you have said many times, the naval blockade is what is preventing them from getting the most revenue, if they're getting any revenue at all these days. So the naval blockade, combined with the Treasury Secretary Bessent's effort on the financial side to shut their banking down, those kind of things. I mean, the president said yesterday in a live question and answer session, he said, "I'm their bank now, so I have total control over their money." And he doesn't say stuff like that lightly. He never said that before. But
true.
We know Bessent's been working on this side, that financial and economic side of the levers of power right there. And when you combine that with the naval blockade, you know what? We don't really have to go in and strike a lot of targets and those kind of things. I think the president's realized that he is in a position where he can sit back and not be in a hurry, as long as he's not worried about the midterms. And honestly, I mean, he's probably thinking about it, but I don't think he puts that as his number one priority when he's got forces engaged in combat with an enemy like this, to be honest. I don't think he's that type of person.
I think you're right. I think there does need to be a better messaging campaign out of the White House, but that's a whole other issue for the midterms. What about the Strategic Petroleum Reserve? We're hitting lows. I thought we had oil coming out of Venezuela. How is that? Do you have any insight into that? I need to find maybe another guest on that, but just thought I'd ask you.
Yeah, I don't have anything up to date, but the last reporting I saw was that the Venezuelan oil was going into the strategic reserves. You know, the big input source for that is off the state of Louisiana, out in the Gulf of America, is where that facility is. So I would be surprised if it's still not happening. But unfortunately, I don't have access to classified information either. But the latest sources I have said that oil's flowing in there. Unfortunately, Biden never did refill the dang thing.
That was intentional
before he
too.
left office. Oh, I'm sure it was intentional, because we're having this discussion now.
Yeah, exactly. It worked.
And the media and the other media, the enemy media, uses it to try to influence the midterm elections, because their stated goal and the anonymous sources that they use, which are probably ex-military people or civilians in the defense industry or foreign policy industry, government types inside the United States. They could be in or out of government. Their goal is to upset the Republicans in the midterms, so this president can be, I don't know, put in jail through an impeachment or those kind of things. I honestly don't think the midterms are that much in jeopardy, but 28 could be a possibility, because they'll have a lot longer term to message if the Republicans don't start supporting the president's agenda that he won on, because people see that.
Well, you said enemy media. That's exactly correct. And, we need to really build this. I don't even want to call it alternative media anymore. This media, I guess, capability that you and I are building. We got to get bigger and better because that's going to be key coming in and pulling people out of that matrix and getting them over to us is really, really, really important. What else? What else do you see in the world that needs to be discussed right now?
Well, I live in Gulfport, Mississippi, Todd, and over the weekend, a story broke by Amy Meck and her team at the Rare Foundation about a municipal judge appointment up in the central part of the state. Now, there was some inaccuracies in the story that initially broke. It said it was from one city, which is controlled by Republicans, but it's not. It's from a city that's in Benny Thompson's district still, and we have not. Keep in mind, the Republicans that control the state have not redistricted Benny Thompson out. They chose to wait till after this election to take a look at that. So that's one of the things that's going on. But this judge is a Yemeni American woman who is an immigration attorney that specializes in getting illegals and immigrants established on legal pathways to citizenship. So she's a protector of the Biden immigration policy that's flooded our country with people from the third world and jihadis from the third world, like Yemen. Okay. And she's a hijab wearing woman. And that means she is a Sharia law adherent. And now she is a municipal judge in Benoit, Mississippi. And she has been seen in pictures with the current attorney general, who has just announced her run for governor, getting awards and those kind of things. Somehow got the sitting governor to do a proclamation of Arab America Day that was widely celebrated in the hijab wearing Sharia adherent community, both in and outside of the country. Sky News has picked up this story. I've been tweeting about it all week, trying to fight off the, hey, it's fake news because it said one city and it was really in another, from people that are surprisingly in the media that you would think might be on the side of the majority of Mississippi Republicans, but they're still fighting that off. And it's going to turn into a, hey, it's not a big deal. You can see the messaging coming. It's not a big deal. It's a municipal court. She's going to handle traffic stuff. And you can't attack people on their First Amendment rights anyway, because folks that don't really understand the nature of the problem of Sharia law and their adherents refuse to recognize that those same Sharia adherents are the ones that pulled off 9/11, the ones that you and I and our teams have been fighting and dying in the global war on terror against since 9/11. And even pre 9/11 with the Cole bombing. All of that is because they're Sharia adherents in Sharia law. And this woman is too, just by the fact that she chooses to wear the hijab and dress like a Yemeni citizen instead of like an American citizen.
Well, that's happening.
It's not
everywhere.
about her faith. Yeah, it's happening everywhere. This is the first one that we know about in Mississippi. Mississippi's seen as kind of a bulwark of the conservative states still. And it's caused a lot of uproar, and it should. I'm calling for people to make sure they vote their incumbents out or check on them, no matter what party they're in, and organize and go to council meetings and hold them accountable even after they're in office, so that these kind of things don't happen. Because really, should a Sharia adherent person be sitting on the bench in the United States of America? A Sharia adherent, in my opinion, cannot follow the Constitution, whether they say they will or not. And she has said that her loyalty is to the Constitution of the United States and the state of Mississippi, but it's still her internal philosophy she's been raised with. She demonstrates it. She will demonstrate it in the courtroom, I'm sure, and it influences her thinking and her judiciary decision making. It has to. It's human nature.
Well, on that issue, I've been saying for some time now that there's some truth in what Tucker and others are saying, foreign influence, and from Ukraine on down, but there's a big silence coming from some of these conservative influencers on the Islamic infiltration issue. And
it's watch what's going on in Mississippi. There's some big names that are big names to Mississippi on the media side that are generally conservative that are saying, "Oh, wait a minute, it's not a big deal. Things are okay." And then there's those of us that are just saying, "Hey, you need to vote. We have low voter turnout elections here consistently, and incumbents stay in office a long time. They start thinking they're invulnerable and they can do whatever they want, regardless of what the people would say." And the people are really pissed in the state of Mississippi. The offices of the cities they thought it was happening in were inundated over the weekend, and the office of the city that did do it, Benoit, shut their offices down yesterday at 1:30 p.m. and turned their phones and messaging systems off because they're getting a lot of phone calls, and they should be getting a lot of phone calls. This is a very, very dangerous precedent. We've seen what's happened in Texas and the big effort that's going on right now to stop Sharia law. The state of Mississippi does have a law, a no foreign law piece of legislation that was passed and was called the Anti-Sharia Bill. But I don't believe it's specific enough, and we need to take a look at modifying the language of that at a minimum to make sure Sharia law is specifically banned in state and every state, really, because it is very insidious in a very nuanced way. And in this case, what happens when a municipal judge, somebody looks at her and says, "Hey, she's doing a great job. Let's promote her up to a state level judge or a federal judge," and those kind of things. It's very, very, very dangerous.
Well, the issue of illegals voting and getting put into positions is happening across the state, and it's a big issue. And it's we busted a case in Connecticut. I was just reading a text that Trump is on the case now with this Melissa Ramirez, who killed a cop, an off-duty cop, and his girlfriend in her DUI, and then found out she was illegal. And then there's a lot of controversy over whether she's been voting too. So in the state of Connecticut, saying no, that's another person with the same birthday and the same name that we can't find exists anywhere. But so that whole political issue with immigration is happening, and they don't want any attention posted on it. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's one thing to not want attention. It's another thing to influence the narrative to the people of a state or a country to convince them that it's no big deal until it is a big deal, like what's happening in Texas and New York City.
It's like they say on Wall Street, interest rates are low until they're not. So it's
there you go.
Until it's not.
There you go.
All right, Rob, thank you very much, man. I really appreciate it. We'll have you back. Take care.
Hey, appreciate it, Todd.
Bye.
Every day, your data is being tracked, collected, and sold, often without you even realizing it. Big tech companies control your devices, your apps, and the information you share. From your messages to your browsing habits, everything is being monitored and stored. Over time, we've traded privacy for convenience, and most people don't even question it. But what if you could take that control back? That's where Mark 37 comes in. Mark 37 provides privacy-focused phones, laptops, and tablets designed to give you full control over your digital life. With secure systems, expert support, and simple tools, they make it easier to step away from constant tracking and data collection. Because privacy isn't just a feature, it's a fundamental choice. It's about protecting your data, your freedom, and your future. Take back control of your digital life with Mark 37.
And by the way, I wanted to say I'm starting my journey with Sean. I'm going to be getting a Ghost phone and then upgrading to a Ghost computer soon, because I am going to unplug for the Matrix. And you can follow me along on my journey. So mark37.com/CDM is where you want to go to do that. Find the webinar, sign up for the webinar, and learn everything you need to know to get started. And then you can also sign up for a free 30-minute consultation on privacy there at mark37.com/CDM. But I'm looking forward to it, and I have been worried about privacy for some time. So I'm going to be taking the plunge and changing my life and unplugging from the Matrix, and I'm really looking forward to it. So maybe you can join me.
Through the pandemic, we can never be caught unprepared again. And so many Americans, when COVID hit, they had nothing in the house. The stores were shut down, and doctors' offices were shut down. And even if doctors prescribed drugs, hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin, pharmacists wouldn't fill the prescriptions. That was a nightmare.
Now the situation is much worse. We have these horrible supply chain problems. In our emergency medical kit at the Wellness Company, we have 8 prescription drugs that are all potentially life-saving.
Most people who died with COVID, they died in the hospital because they didn't receive early treatment.
Every American family should have one of these.
I can tell you the Wellness Company kit is the answer.
With my 35 years of experience, our team at U.S. Asset Management can deliver professional investment management, financial planning to help you target your goals, and even specialized divorce financial analysis if you need it. We are here to help you make better decisions with your money. Call U.S. Asset Management today, and let's get to work in your financial future.
All right, welcome back to the SCIF. I want to give a shout out to our no ad subscription. Go to my.cdm.press. That's my.cdm.press. You know, we one of the ways we survive is our subscribers, and this is not a hard paywall. You can see all of our news if you want, but we do run ads. If you don't want to see those ads, you can pay us $10 a month or $100 a year, and you get access to the entire network with no ads. We're putting out a lot of content, and you get access to all of it with no ads popping up in your phone. And we have a lot of good success with this, and we need more people to sign up for it and support the free media that we're doing, credible free media, global media that we're doing, and we really need your financial support. So that's one way you get something back as well. Go to my.cdm.press and sign up for the no ad subscription. Also, we're putting out a lot of our channels are going to be growing, especially on X and Telegram, with third-party news sites. We want them to be news feeds, and you can read our content dispersed through that. So that's happening, especially in the verticals. Like you can see it on Miami right now on the Miami X channel and on Telegram. That's going to be happening more across the network as we grow. All right, let's talk about a few stories. This one is on the Connecticut Sentinel. President Trump signs executive order on the vaccine schedule, really helping kids not take so many shots. This is key. We're glad to see this. We want more. Still unhappy with the mRNA focus, but it looks like a deal's been made. I was hearing some theories that RFK made a deal, let me help the autism stuff with the vaccines, and you can do your mRNA. So anyway, we don't like that, but at least this part of it is happening. That is a good thing. And in Massachusetts, you can abort a baby up to birth now. Just sick stuff. Satanic ritual child sacrifice. That's all that is. You can find that on CDM. The Houthi article bombing Aramco in Saudi Arabia. We talked about that with Rob Maness. You can find that on CDM as well. And this is the article on the second Taylor Farms recall salmonella in the jalapeno peppers. Not good. Be aware of that. Food security is key. Find your local farms. We've been saying that for years. You need to do it. And then also this one on the Georgia Record is actually CDM and on Georgia Record. Hassan Piker saying kill all the capitalists, the white capitalists. So there you go. That's all we got today. We'll be back tomorrow, 10 to noon, Monday through Friday on the SCIF. Hope you enjoyed the show. Please sign up for our socials, Rumble, YouTube, X, all of it, Instagram. Please help us grow and spread the links. Tell people about the show. Leave comments. Help us grow. It really is impactful. So we'll see you tomorrow on the SCIF at 10 to noon, Monday through Friday. Thank you.